Cebolinha is back at Flamengo in the starting lineup. Will we see Cebolinha in the Copa Libertadores? Hey Flamengo fans, this is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell and leave that awesome like on the video. We're here thanks to the sponsorship of Arudo's Caravan. You can secure your spot at Flamengo's games with the Caravana do Cara. It's amazing. You even get tickets included for Flamengo's games at Maracanã. And you can also secure your spot at the Champions League and any sports or soccer trips you want to take, including if you want to go to the United States to watch the NFL, if you want to go to the United States to watch the NBA or the Champions League, or if you also want to travel to Flamengo's games. Round of 16, God willing, Flamengo will secure their spot in the round of 16 today. Flamengo has the chance today to secure their spot in the round of 16 of the Copa Libertadores. But stay alert. Keep an eye on what's happening in the Copa Conmebol Libertadores. We're going to talk about that here, my friends. What happened to Cruzeiro yesterday is something to be on alert about, you know? Thiago Asma Pilhado was talking about this and even reacted to it here with you all. It's scary what's happening. What happened to Flamengo against Estudiantes in Argentina? What happened to Cruzeiro in another game? What happened to Cruzeiro yesterday? It's scary. It's scary. Here is all the information about the upcoming game between Flamengo and Independiente Medellín. Look, check out what Thiago Asmar said.
Look at this scandalous sending off of Arroyo, guys, this here, and the guy leaves devastated. A thief like this, look at that. He steps on the opponent's boot, on the opponent's foot. He doesn't step, it's on the ankle. He doesn't go in with his foot high. It's a robbery, and VAR doesn't even call for a review. Then you see the player leaving like that, devastated because it undermines his work. Because of a dirty thief, another dirty referee in this CONMEBOL.
What madness, how bizarre. This is surreal.
Is it clear? There was already that outrageous incident against Flamengo, where someone went in high on Bruno Henrique's shin and didn't even get a yellow card.
Now,
this bizarre sending off, they won't want to let a Brazilian team win the Libertadores again because only Brazilians win. This is a scandal. This is a robbery that really hurt Cruzeiro.
They won't want to. I already thought about this. They won't want to let a Brazilian team win the Libertadores again. They'll do everything to make it difficult, to have as many teams as possible, including foreign ones. So, keep an eye out, because today is Independiente Medellín's last chance. Yesterday's 1-1 draw between Estudiantes and Cusco at high altitude left Flamengo in a comfortable position. If Flamengo gets a good result, for example, Flamengo stays in the lead, regardless of the other game. Just checking here. The thing is, Flamengo won 4-1, and now the head-to-head is the first tiebreaker. The first tiebreaker is head-to-head, and Flamengo beat Independiente Medellín 4-1, okay? Independiente Medellín has 4 points, look, 4 points, and Flamengo already has 7. If Independiente Medellín wins by a single goal or by 2 goals at most, they also reach 7 points, but they don't surpass Flamengo in the tiebreaker criteria. Flamengo stays in the lead even without winning. Now, Estudiantes drew 1-1 in Cusco at altitude and ended up with 6 points. With 4 games played, Flamengo has 3, so even with 1 more game, Estudiantes are still behind Flamengo. At this moment, if Flamengo beats Independiente Medellín away, if they win tonight against Independiente Medellín, Flamengo will go up to 10 points, which would even be the highest points total among the groups. All because Rivadavia drew with Fluminense. If Rivadavia had beaten Fluminense, they would have gone up to 12 points, would have practically eliminated Fluminense, would have had 12 points, and would have been the best ranked among all the groups. So Flamengo has a great chance, and if they win tonight, they even have a chance to be the best ranked. The overall first place is Palmeiras. They have 8 points. The groups are pretty balanced. So guys, if Flamengo gets to 10 points and Independiente Medellin stays at 4, they can reach 10. But in the head-to-head, Flamengo would have the first tiebreaker. Flamengo would have already won, so Flamengo is already ahead. Tonight, they're already in the round of 16 at least, guaranteed as second place. So, why can Estudiantes with 6 points reach 12? If Flamengo doesn't win either of the last 2 games, they would remain at 10 points but still qualify in second place due to the tiebreaker. Now, if Flamengo wins today, they can reach 16 points, which would be the highest points total in the group stage. Depending on the situation in the Fluminense group to see who takes first place there by the tiebreaker criteria. The thing about Rivadavia having drawn with Fluminense, yesterday I saw Flamengo fans rooting against Fluminense, hoping for them to be eliminated. Bolivar just needs to win one of their games too, right? It also depends on the match between Fluminense and Bolivar. That's a factor too, but that's not the main point. The point is the draw, considering the overall situation. The draw was actually good for Flamengo. I said this yesterday thinking about the best campaign in the group stage. Rivadavia's draw was good for Flamengo. CONMEBOL has decided on the uniforms for Flamengo and Independiente Medellin. In the Libertadores game coming up soon, Flamengo will take the field wearing a white shirt and white shorts. They're going to wear this shirt here and white shorts. Flamengo plays. Here it is. Look, just click. Flamengo plays 4x-3 little song. White shirt and white shorts, right? This is just the icon though. Flamengo doesn't play in this one, but it's beautiful too, isn't it? You can find Flamengo products on YouTube Shopping here. I always put all the Flamengo products. You can get it personalized on YouTube Shopping, okay? Flamengo's sponsor, Shopee, is here on YouTube Shopping. So, Flamengo is playing in white, okay? The goalkeeper will wear blue as the main color, right? Main color, Medellin will play in purple, right? With their main uniform for this match, playing as the home team, Independiente Medellin. Well, bringing you all the information about the game. Jose Barros will lead Flamengo against Independiente Medellin in the Libertadores. Leonardo Jardim is suspended. Okay. So Jose Barros, that's right, this guy is leading Flamengo today against Independiente Medellin. In my opinion, the sending off was unfair. Some people say it wasn't, that it was right, that he had to be sent off even when the coach enters the field, but he went in to calm things down along with the other coach. It was to calm the situation, to help the referee. You know, there was no reason for both of them to be sent off, right? Well, I'm going to bring it here now. For you all as well, all the information. Yesterday, we had Flamengo's players training at Atlético Nacional's field, right? Look, Leo Pereira, he should be a starter against Independiente Medellin. Flamengo has some changes already set for this match. So, bringing you all the information about the match coming up at 9:30 p.m. Brasilia time. I'll be at Quintal do Zilco. Look at that, Zilco's backyard, in Barra da Tijuca, in pé da Itaúna. I'm going to stream there on Kick doing a reaction. Together with Vegeta on Zilco's channel, and then the post-game there too, directly from Quintal do Zilco, in pé da Itaúna. Yes, so Flamengo playing at 9:30 p.m. at the Atanasio Girardot Stadium in Medellin, fourth round of the group stage of the Copa CONMEBOL Libertadores. The broadcast today is on Disney Plus, streaming. Okay, so the probable lineup for Flamengo is Royal, Danilo Vitão, and Ayrton Lucas. Okay, me? Oh, this, according to GE, I think Flamengo will go with Leo Pereira. Yeah, I think Flamengo will go with Leo Pereira. In my opinion, Flamengo will go with Leo Pereira. GE brought up Rossi, Royal, Danilo, Vitão, because he's rotating a lot, right? Danilo, Vitão, and Ayrton. Lucas, I think he'll go with Danilo and Leo Pereira. It's Everton, Araujo, Jorginho, and Carrascal. That's normal. Carrascal in place of Arrascaeta. Or he could have the return of Cebolinha, Carrascal, Luis Araujo, Pedro, and Cebolinha. The return of Cebolinha, huh? Possible return of Cebolinha in this rotation he's doing with the squad. So Luis Araujo, Pedro, and Cebolinha, or Luis Araujo, Bruno Henrique, and Cebolinha, okay? The absences are still Arrascaeta due to injury, right? He's recovering. We brought this to you yesterday. Lucas Paqueta, edema in his left thigh, and Eric Pulgar, recovering from an injury. Okay, probable lineup for Independiente Medellin. Remember that Lucas Paqueta should return for the next games to be ready for the match against Palmeiras on the 23rd, which is opening today. It opened today at 10 a.m. Ticket sales are now open for supporter members. So, the probable lineup for Independiente Medellin: Schalks, Chavera, Lodonho, Ortiz, and Fabra, Serna Romana, Loboa, and Catano. Ione Gonzalez, who is also known to Brazilian fans here, Chavera, and Fidris Savic, right? I think that's how you say it. Yeah, and the coach Alejandro Restrepo, right? The referee is someone we know. He's already officiated a Flamengo match. The referee from Venezuela, Jesus Valenzuela, and the VAR is Uruguayan. It's Andres Cunha, okay? The assistants are all from Venezuela as well, Tulio Moreno and Alberto Ponte. So that's all the information about the upcoming match between Flamengo and Independiente Medellin. Look, we have some things to share with you, but I have to show you this first. What's happening? Keep an eye on the refereeing, guys. Watch the refereeing. You heard what Thiago Asmar said, and I really noticed it too. It seems like they don't want a Brazilian club to win the cup again. Copa Libertadores. Or at least a lot of Brazilian teams making it through. Look at what Fabricio Kika, Mundo na Bola, right? Mundo na Bola on Instagram. Yeah, look at what he said. And it's very important, Palmeiras fans who follow here too, who don't want it to become a SAF and who aren't aware of Leila Pereira's campaign. To leave Flamengo alone in the fight there with the government so that the member-owned clubs don't pay more taxes than the clubs that are SAF, right? Let's see what he says here. Take a look. Flamengo is alone in Brasilia.
Palmeiras, under President Leila Pereira, who is usually so vocal on other occasions, is completely silent. Flamengo is defending member-owned clubs against the impact of the tax reform that would increase club taxes by up to 120%. Corinthians quietly is only supporting behind the scenes. The other member-owned clubs are staying silent, including Palmeiras. This would just be a political omission if there were no context. Leila Pereira is the president of Palmeiras, the second club. Look at this. Therefore, there's no need to become a SAF. It's a member-owned club. Arguing that there should be no change in the taxes for member-owned clubs is literally defending the model of the club she presides over. But she's not doing that. Let's look at the facts. In 2024, Leila publicly stated that the big solution for clubs in Brazil was the SAF. She says she wouldn't propose this change during her term, that is, making Palmeiras become a SAF, but she made it clear that she believes in the model. Marcos Lamarquia, Leila's stepson, is in advanced negotiations to acquire 90% of Vasco da Gama's SAF. The SAFs are exactly the model that would benefit from the new tax structure. If club taxes go up, the SAF model would have a competitive advantage. These are the facts. The question is simple. Palmeiras' silence in Brasilia, leaving Flamengo alone.
Palmeiras or Leila?
Is it a coincidence? Or is Palmeiras, by not fighting for the tax treatment of member-owned clubs, indirectly favoring the model that benefits Leila's family's business? We don't know the answer. Leila has to answer. The Palmeiras fan, who usually hates me but doesn't want to see the club privatized, should ask Leila this question. Notice next year she leaves Palmeiras and could leave the club paying much higher taxes. She stops fighting for Palmeiras and her stepson's team benefits. The fact is, besides sacrificing Olympic sports across the whole country, the tax change harms Palmeiras and benefits Vasco, which will belong to her stepson. That's the question. Why isn't Layla fighting anymore to defend a member-owned club that she presides over? There still isn't an answer to that. Me segue aqui.
Yeah, Mundo na Bola. Fabricio Kika is raising a question that not even Palmeiras fans will be able to answer. Very well pointed out by Fabricio Kika. And I'll tell you guys, Flamengo alone, Flamengo fighting alone in Brasilia. And the only club that should be fighting alongside and forgetting about all those other issues above everything else was Palmeiras. They should be fighting together so that the SAFs don't pay less taxes than the member-owned clubs. Why doesn't Palmeiras help? Mauro Cesar Pereira mentioned this yesterday too. Why? Why won't the São Paulo media press them on this? Is Flamengo in favor of it? Nice guy, it's you. The interests of your real club, a real club, especially now with her as president, Palmeiras. What's going on, huh? Comment here. I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe below and turn on the notification bell. Flamengo is from because Flamengo is Flamengo's team. Visit our other social networks to see the Orlando Barrio interview. Flamengo's training, we posted it last night here on our networks as well. Flamengo's training at Atlético Nacional's training center. And I'm going to invite you to also follow our channel 2 and 3, which I'll be uploading as well. Highlights with interviews and Flamengo's training. And one more thing. Man, what a bizarre goal Vasco conceded yesterday. I've never seen such a strange own goal. We're in this together. Greetings, red and black fans. This is Flamengo. Thanks.